Biggie is like the old school hustler from this neighborhood,
no
but
judge.
on the legal side.
No judge.
Semi.
You just about know what I do.
Some communities immediately reach out and grab you the second you arrive. And it's easy to fall prey to labeling it way too early. There's always more complexity and depth than at first glance. It's not often that you call a cinder block a canvas, but that's certainly the case in Wynwood.
And right now, I would have never believed it, but I got tour buses that come by here.
Street art has transformed this community.
It's not just tech here, medtech or software, it's also like a wide variety of really different industries.
And it's creeped into the hearts and the souls of all that experience it.
Before, there was nothing here. You couldn't walk back here. If you walk back here, this whole crew will get robbed.
Evolution, transition, transformation, whatever you want to call it, it always has to start somewhere. In the 1950s, after World War II, there was a large influx of Puerto Ricans into Wynwood, and it became known as Little San Juan. Over time, the neighborhood began to diversify to include blacks, Haitians, Colombians, Cubans, and Dominicans. And by the 1970s, it was lower middle class. And then over time, the barber shops, the laundromats, and the bodegas get torn down for cafes where you can get a $15 cup of coffee, hit your private Pilates session, or oogle at a dress in the window that for $800, you quietly wonder who in the hell is gonna wear that? Bajareke, a legacy of 5 generations of Puerto Rico, smack in the middle of Wynwood. There was a period in my life that the table was jam-packed with mofongo, empanadas, pasteles, and plátanos. And when I sat down at Bajareke, immediately I was transported back in time.
Our parents started teaching us to cook as soon as we were about 8 years old or we were in school. When you're home and you have 9 siblings, someone's got to feed us all. So yeah, we all learned to cook eventually at one point.
And so this has been the anchor of the neighborhood for 50 years, 5 generations.
Yes.
You've seen a lot here.
Right. Our great-great-grandparents, the primary reason why they came here was because it was so affordable at the time. So it was easier that you lived down the street, and if you did have the ambition to open up a business, luckily it was affordable and it was viable in this area. So that's exactly what they did. They took advantage. They bought the land when they could afford it, and it's been ours ever since. We've had some people that would be like, we'll take it out of your hands.
Oh,
absolutely
sure.
not. Absolutely not.
Especially
this is our
location.
heart and our home.
Earlier, when there were probably a larger Puerto Rican population here from Puerto Rico that emigrated here,
Right.
was it a, hey, let's stick together and get this done? Do you have those memories?
When we were little, our grandmother, who literally lives around the block, she used to prepare and cook from the morning. The people that we did know, who we treated like family, which is most of the neighborhood, if you were hungry, we'd get you a plate in the back, you'd bring it out to the front and eat.
Do you ever feel like it's a responsibility for you to carry this on?
Responsibility? Yeah. I definitely feel more so of an honor. I mean, I think we're incredibly lucky to say that our family has been here for so long. I don't really know many people that can say that, especially as Puerto Ricans and Cubans. We need each other to survive in this area because it is flourishing quite rapidly. So, yeah.
Please. Thank you. You too?
I can like drink alone.
Never. Oh, that's good. Yeah, right? You agree?
She agrees. Like, my love, 21 more years.
Maybe a little earlier.
Oh, key, okay. I was gonna go, oh, great, we're all rigged here and it does
You've
this.
driven this before, right?
Yes, it's my first time.
Meet Judd Allison. Judd is the owner of Toe Jam Backlot and 305 Films, and he's been in Wynwood for over 3 decades.
You know, we've been through it. Like in the beginning, all the crackheads were all, I mean, it was hardcore.
It was hardcore.
This area actually, you know, 3 years ago had the highest murder rate in Dade County. It's the funniest shit because you'll see tourists walking right into here.
Shit.
And I'm like, guys, Biggie! Has this place changed at all?
Hell yeah.
In the late 80s and into the 1990s, artists had begun to move into abandoned warehouses in Wynwood and started developing them into galleries and studios. In the middle 2000s, Wynwood got a savior, Tony Goldman, a creative and talented visionary who was the force behind the revitalization of Soho and South Beach, and he brought life to Wynwood walls. Art has always been a factor in contributing to the revitalization of a neighborhood. But when is it revitalization or when is it gentrification? New members of the community come in, and old members of the community may be weakened. Either way you look at it, there is a demographic turnover. Should you not revitalize a neighborhood? When does the tipping point lead to gentrification? And how do you create a more inclusive environment for all in the mix? Tell me what you eat and I will tell you what you are. Meet Chef Ray Lee of Palmar. Food plays a central role in the economic development, health, and culture of a community.
This is my char siu ribs. This is my family recipe, the sauce. So what I did, I took it to the next level, modernized it. And then these are cashews that are toasted on the wok with salt, sugar, and 5 spice.
I remember that day my aunt took me to a French restaurant in New York City, and I had my first steak tartare.
And I learned how to do the prawns, the shrimp, just like this.
I remember the raw octopus at the sushi restaurant on Long Island. All of these things opened my mind. I became part of the culture for just that moment, and maybe just a bit more tolerant than I had been previous to tasting that food.
Cuban food, Colombian food, that's Miami. One of my neighbors would be Jamaican, the in front of me Haitian, and the guy next to me Colombian. You know, it's very diverse.
Tony Cho is a real estate developer who drafted up behind the godfather of Wynwood, Tony Goldman.
So you've been here since the early days.
Yep.
One of the pioneers.
I bought my first apartment on 21st and Biscayne Bay. I bought it for $66,000 with $9,000 I had saved with a hard money loan from a Hialeah loan shark at 11%. A year later, I sold that apartment for $180,000, and I had this aha moment and said, wow, there's this direct correlation between art, culture, and real estate values. And I started investing in all of these areas, which I now call the urban core, but essentially following where all the creatives are.
Does Miami have an undeserved reputation of back in the old days?
Me growing up, this area was the hood.
The only thing I heard was the shop. Boom.
And yeah, I just remember seeing the TV, seeing the news, and there was always something going on. Miami's scene is shares of many troubles, but I see we're seeing daylight, a lot of daylight and a lot of innovation. I could say Wynwood has come a very, very long way from what it was before.
Wynwood has done a really good job about attracting really innovative developers and investors who see the long-term value. People don't come in and come out and flip properties here. People here are very proud to be part of it. They take an active role. There's a Wynwood pride here that exists, that people don't want to do things mediocre and they're always trying to innovate. I'm very privileged and honored to be part of it, and I hope to continue to contribute it in a meaningful way.
Eric Buccal is an executive who previously worked in Silicon Valley for Verb Surgical. They were developing one of the world's most complex surgical robotics platforms. Eric moved to Wynwood to lead a venture capital-backed surgical robotic company who intends on revolutionizing the dental surgery market.
When you made a decision to move the entire headquarters to Wynwood, did Wynwood influence pro or con, or what did you wrestle with before pulling the trigger on that financial commitment?
How can we blend in Miami, right? We're a high-tech company, and people start thinking, okay, high-tech, I've heard that so many times. Okay, but what's so typical to Miami, right? And Wynwood it's just like, kind of like a face of Miami. It's an easier also sales pitch to people, like, hey, we're this up-and-coming tech company, we're fun, we blend in with the artists, we want to do that stuff for the community, and I think it would have been way more difficult than any other neighborhood in Miami.
My fear here is, and it's happened in every neighborhood, is artists get pushed out eventually.
Yep.
I don't care how badass they are. Money talks all day long. And so I'm just curious, tick tock, how we're going to balance that here.
Yeah, I think the bigger advantage that companies like us have is the timeline. We have very patient investors. We've been grateful with having the right investors that have patience with us, right? Let's look at 5-7 years down the road. So we don't have that pressure of delivering right away, or we need to grow every single quarter.
Yeah, and it's that mindset that leaders need, because too many times we're looking exclusively at the balance sheet and scared shit of the shareholders and the quarterly response.
Yep.
And I think that leadership really would resonate in this Wynwood neighborhood tremendously.
I think like we're one of the first like kind of tech companies or med tech companies, right? There are some startups that are looking at like technology, but it's not really living here yet. I think the tech business here is really like the next frontier, right? And I think the city needs to start recognizing it more, because just by us it's not going to happen, right? Yes, we're going to be attracting talent, but talent attracts talent, right? So we really need other companies here to join like the development, whether it's from Wynwood or South Florida. You have the people here, you have this international vibe. Like let's build a new tech city here.
We love the revitalization of neighborhoods. We love the ready-to-shoot Instagrammable scenery of these communities. While change is inevitable, and it always leaves something or someone behind, there will always be winners and losers in all transitions. Like it or not, without the risk of extinction, there is no evolution. And by the way, I am not saying that evolution is a good thing. You're welcome, TrueFuture.